Over the years, many have speculated over exactly what was bodybuilding's true golden age. For the 60s, 70s, and 80s Iron Champions of Venice Beach, California, bodybuilding's golden age was unquestionably their era. Looking back, you could see their point. For one thing, this was a time where the great Arnold Schwarzenegger was in full flight, establishing himself as the best bodybuilder ever to set foot on stage. Just training shoulder to shoulder with the Austrian oak was enough to add a few more reps or a little more weight to your total on any given day. Then you had the mystique. Bodybuilding, as far as the public awareness it had achieved and the level to which it had risen, was catching on. Although far from mainstream, and chances are it never will be, bodybuilding was a popular spectacle and attracted its own unique subculture of groupies and those who were simply drawn to it through its melding of art, performance, and sport. From its dank, dark basement days of the 40s and 50s, where it was considered more of an oddity rather than a form of artistic expression or sport in its own right, bodybuilding was now fresh and something very much alive. And the legendary Gold's Gym, Venice Beach, California, known among bodybuilding's devout as the Mecca, was the place to go. It had an aura all of its own and included bodybuilders who were mainly focused on the practice of enhancing the physique through exercise, while prioritizing muscle growth and tone. In fact, it could be said that bodybuilding's golden age took place in and around this hallowed place of bodybuilding worship. Bodybuilding became more popular during this time period with the emergence of strength and gymnastics champions and the simultaneous popularization of bodybuilding magazines, training principles, nutrition for bulking up and cutting down, the use of protein and other supplements, and the opportunity to enter physique contests. Arnold Schwarzenegger was born in Thal, Austria, a village bordering the Styrian capital, Graz, and was christened Arnold Alois Schwarzenegger. As a boy, Schwarzenegger played several sports, heavily influenced by his father. He picked up his first barbell in 1960 when his soccer coach took his team to a local gym. At the age of 14, he chose bodybuilding over soccer as a career. In 1961, Schwarzenegger met Mr. Austria, Kurt Mamul, who invited him to train at the gym in Graz. In 1965, Schwarzenegger won the Junior Mr. Europe contest and won another bodybuilding contest in Graz at Steiderhof Hotel, where he had placed second. He was voted Best Built Man of Europe, which made him famous. In 1966, Schwarzenegger had the opportunity to meet childhood idol Reg Park, who became his friend and mentor. His hard training paid off, and in 1967, Schwarzenegger won the title for the first time, becoming the youngest ever Mr. Universe at the age of 20. He would go on to win the title a further 3 times. Schwarzenegger, who dreamed of moving to the US since the age of 10 and saw bodybuilding as the avenue through which to do so, realized his dream by moving to the United States in September 1968. At the age of 21, speaking little English, there he trained at Gold's Gym in Venice, Los Angeles, California, under Joe Weider. From 1970 to 1974, one of Schwarzenegger's weight training partners was Rick Drayson, a professional wrestler who designed the original Gold's Gym logo in 1973. Schwarzenegger's goal was to become the greatest bodybuilder in the world, which meant becoming Mr. Olympia. His first attempt was in 1969, when he lost to three-time champion Sergio Oliva. However, Schwarzenegger came back in 1970 and won the competition, making him the youngest ever Mr. Olympia at the age of 23, a record he still holds to this day. He continued his winning streak in the 1971 to 74 competitions. In 1975, Schwarzenegger was once again in top form and won the title for the sixth consecutive time, beating Franco Columbu. After the 1975 Mr. Olympia contest, Schwarzenegger announced his retirement from professional bodybuilding. Schwarzenegger had a highly successful business career, and by the age of 25, Schwarzenegger was a millionaire, well before his career in Hollywood. His financial independence came from his success as a budding entrepreneur with a series of lucrative business ventures and real estate investments. Overall, Arnold Schwarzenegger has proven to be one of the most influential people during the golden age of bodybuilding. Sergio Oliva combined extraordinary genetics, astonishing proportions, and a commanding presence to become an enduring Golden Era legend. Nicknamed the Myth, the Cuban immigrant went on to win 3 Mr. Olympia titles and created a legacy that has many fans still calling him the greatest bodybuilder of all time. In his bodybuilding prime, Oliva's amazing physique challenged the limits of what people thought was possible in developing a muscular body. In a bodybuilding culture that often exaggerated body sizes and feats of strength, Oliva lived up to the hype. On his way to winning 3 Mr. Olympia titles, Oliva earned the nickname The Myth because of his legendary proportions and muscle mass. Never before, and arguably never since, has a bodybuilder combined such incredible muscle size with jaw-dropping proportions and shape. Even his peers were in awe of him. Even one of Oliva's most celebrated on-stage foes is one of his greatest admirers. Arnold Schwarzenegger engaged in epic battles against Oliva on the Mr. Olympia stage. They were bodybuilding versions of Ali Fraser. Both men had great respect for each other. When Arnold is asked about Oliva in any interview, he will talk about the amazing strength, muscle mass, and overall structure of one of the best bodybuilding physiques ever. In some ways, having to battle Oliva helped make Schwarzenegger a much better competitor. Sergio Oliva was earning a reputation as one of those rare bodybuilders who had it all. His shape and symmetry burst with magnificent size in every muscle group. Even the best bodybuilders usually struggle with bringing up 1 or 2 body parts. Not the Myth. He even had huge, developed forearms and long, diamond-shaped calves to match the rest of his incredible physique. Sergio Oliva passed away in 2010 at the age of 71 from kidney failure. To this day, some still consider the Myth the greatest bodybuilder of all time, or at least the second best behind Arnold Schwarzenegger. Sergio, a man forever enshrined in history as one of a kind, will never be repeated. Fans didn't count on one thing: his genetics living on. Zane is a 3-time Mr. Olympia, 1977 to 1979. His reign represented a shift in emphasis from mass to aesthetics. Zane's physique featured the second thinnest waistline of all Mr. Olympias, after Sergio Oliva. with his wide shoulders making for a distinctive V taper. He stood at 5 feet 9 inches, 1.75 meters, and had a competition weight of less than 190 pounds when he won all 3 of his Mr. Olympias. He was given the nickname The Chemist due to his Bachelor of Science degree, and as he puts it, back in the day, I took a lot of supplements and tons of amino acids. Still do. But back then, it was pretty unusual. That's how I got the nickname The Chemist. He famously trained with light weights, which saw him to many victories. But Joe Weider urged him to train with heavier weights. Zane then found the size necessary for success at the Olympia. After his 3 consecutive Mr. Olympia titles came the 1980 Mr. Olympia. Zane is one of the only 3 men to have beaten Schwarzenegger, with Chester Yorton and Sergio Oliva, in a bodybuilding contest, and one of the very few Mr. Olympia winners under 200 pounds, 91 kilograms. Overall, he competed for over 20 years, retiring after the 1983 Mr. Olympia, and won Mr. America, Mr. Universe, Mr. World, and Mr. Olympia during his career. In 1985, Frank and his wife, Christine, owned and operated Zane Haven in Palm Springs, California, where they conducted one-on-one sessions with clients who wished to possess a symmetrical physique. Today, the Zanes live in San Diego, California, and his learning center is now called Zane Experience. He is the founder of Zane Gallery in Laguna Beach, California, which features bodybuilding art and photography and is dedicated to bringing golden era bodybuilding back into the mainstream. In addition to this, he operates an e-commerce site selling books, supplements, and training equipment. In 1994, Zane was inducted into the Joe Weider Hall of Fame. Since 1998, Zane has given a newsletter called Frank Zane Newsletter that provides the latest information in all aspects of bodybuilding. He received the Arnold Schwarzenegger Lifetime Achievement Award at the 2003 Arnold Classic for his dedication and long-time support of the sport. In 2005, Zane played the IFBB announcer and worked as the consulting producer for the movie See Arnold Run. As of 2006, Zane currently runs his own website and appears at seminars and book signings. In 2011, Frank Zane appeared in the documentary Challenging Impossibility, describing the weightlifting odyssey of spiritual teacher and peace advocate Sri Chinmoy. The film was an official selection of the 2011 Tribeca Film Festival. In 2020, Frank Zane began filming a feature documentary on his life, directed and produced by filmmaker Alex Ardenti.